Welcome back to the Lonely Road. We're here to join you on your journey to heal and become a better human. And it feels like it's been forever since we recorded. I think it's almost been a month, like 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
And it feels weird. I also probably doesn't help that I didn't have therapy this week, but it's been a time. KJ, how have you been? It's been weird.
Yeah, it's been a weird few weeks for me as well. Just trying to get through life and get settled in the place, and they're putting a new heater in our house. So today was interesting watching the guys do that.
Yeah, it's been such a inconsistent thing right now with how quiet and how frozen everything is. It
Yeah.
feels like the world of impending doom is waiting to fall at absolutely any point, and it's just waiting for it to fucking fall.
Yeah, like the world's on fire. What's going to happen next? What's next? Like things are just
No, it's like sitting in the middle of a fucking hurricane. And I can see where it stopped raining, and I can see where it's going to start raining, and I'm just waiting for it to start. And I'm just sitting in the middle of it being like, I'm going to get wet, but this is going to be one hell of a fucking show.
it's going
And
to
I'm
be
just
one
sitting
hell
there
of a
waiting.
ride. Yep. Yep,
But
it
yeah.
is what it is. It is what it is. Uh, but boy, I'll tell you, people do sure think that they know how you should act better than you do. Don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of things. And I
Yeah,
think a lot of people are seeing it right now, especially with like the Charlie Kirk shit.
yeah,
You have a lot of people reacting extremely negatively. You have Erica coming out and, doing speeches, and then everybody shitting on her for that and saying that that's not how you grieve things.
yeah. It's just the grief police is not a thing. And the internet thinks that it is a lot of things that it's not. And the grief police is definitely one of the things that the internet is not. But like you said, when people go through a loss, suddenly everybody around them knows and is an expert on grief and knows what it should look like. When in reality, they haven't really felt it to the core of their being. Um, like that person might be. Erica has to put on a face when she's in front of the public, but how often is she in front of the public, first of all? And, I mean, she's a grieving widow. You don't see what's behind the scenes. Um,
Exactly.
you
More than
say,
likely, she's going home and able to hold it together until her kids go to sleep. And then after that, she probably loses it
yeah, yeah,
because that's exactly what I would do. Like there is no reason for like anybody to be like, "Oh my god, you can't handle this or that this way." Just genuinely doesn't make sense.
no, no, like either you're supposed to cry this much or you can't laugh or smile like that. um you know or she doesn't seem that upset, or it's crazy how people feel like they're the gatekeeper on what's real and appropriate where sorrow is concerned you know
And it's like obviously there's things that you don't that would genuinely negatively impact you humanity wise. Like if you're going through a divorce and you run and go find somebody or you pay for somebody and you're like, oh my God, I have to do this right now in order to forget everything. You're just burning yourself. That's all you're doing. But it's like there is such a wide array of things that you can genuinely do in order to be okay and put yourself in a better place and like fix yourself, whether that's grief of death or grief of losing somebody, even if they are still alive. There's so many ways to kind of just work through that. Somebody else's perception of that is not how you fucking figure that out. Like, and I genuinely just don't understand why everybody thinks that it's like a correct way to handle this.
yeah. The truth is that grief isn't a performance. It's not a show for anybody else's comfort. you know some people fall apart in public, other people don't fall apart in public, and they hold it all together until they're alone, like you said, after they put the kids to bed and do whatever they have to do. It's not for someone else to judge. even if it is in the public eye. Some people dive into work, laughter. Some people just go into a cocoon of silence. And it's not because they don't care, and if you don't think it's appropriate, because that's how they'll survive it. That's why they're doing it the way they're doing
Yeah.
it. You
Like
know,
I was talking to my boss and well, one of my bosses, and I was like, "Yeah, well, I lost a baby right before a show. Like it happened. Like I had to like keep going. I couldn't lose my job. I couldn't just not do what I needed to do. Like what do you want me to do?" He's like, "First off, I'm sorry you went through that. The fact that I had no idea that anything changed at all proves to your strength even more than what most people would genuinely understand. The fact that you were still able to pull jokes and happiness and okay out of everything and nobody knew anything was wrong is even more like showing that you're able to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
yeah,
It's not a game of like, oh, I'm just going to lose it in front of everybody all the time, always. No,
no, and
sometimes you
it's
have to hold it together.
you absolutely do, and that's exactly what we're talking about tonight. Are those moments? Those moments when somebody tries to tell you how to grieve, and how to and we'd like to offer you advice on how to reclaim that, um, and do it your way, because grief doesn't have to meet anybody's approval to be real. Everybody really does grieve in their own way. Um, it's true.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
Well, there's another like even maybe a step out of this a little bit, but it's still such a big part of this is like all of those comedians that you watch on a daily basis or you see their clips or whatever, all of them have had some of the darkest, dimmest lives that you could ever imagine. And the reason why they're so funny and the reason why they're able to make light of things and stuff like that is because they genuinely have openly dealt with those things for their entire life. They're able to see the dark, so they make fun of the dark, which then lightens the fucking room. Like, does
Yeah.
everybody expect everybody to turn their fucking dark times into fucking comedy? No, but like at the same time, it's okay to.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that. I mean, grief is a very, like, we've said this so many times. It's a very taboo topic, and it used to be more taboo a long time ago. Nobody really talked about it. Nobody really prepares people. And how can you really prepare? You know what I mean? You don't know what it feels like until you know what it feels like. But I mean, in gatekeeping or thinking know better than someone else how that person should be grieving, you know, poses a question, Zach, like, why do people feel why do people feel like they can do that? Why do people feel like they can judge that?
I think it comes in two ways. And it's definitely a coin flip. It definitely, I think they're probably about equal in situation. There's going to be the people that are like, oh my God, that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like openly. And I'll be honest with this because, people are hypocritical. I'm going to tell you how to do better, but I'm going to tell you exactly where I fuck up too. The first video that Erica released to me makes me feel very uncomfortable. Should you be able to spend time with your husband after he passes and like grieve and do everything you're going to do? Absolutely. Do I want to see it? Absolutely not.
I understand. I understand where people that have that mindset are coming from. Absolutely. Was I surprised to see that video? Absolutely. Because it's not something that most people will share with the world. Um, and she, for her own reasons, did. Uh, it's it can make you feel uncomfortable, um, but you don't have to look at it. It's not your grief, and
Oh,
she is
absolutely.
making it public. You know what I mean? And that's why I think that people can't handle that messy unpredictability.
But
It's not. Go ahead.
I also think like back when JFK was assassinated and stuff like that, I would assume that like a lot of people were uncomfortable by Jackie standing behind LBJ and getting sworn in while
Yeah.
she's still covered in JFK's blood.
Yeah, there were a lot of reports of
You know what
about
I'm
that. Yeah.
like? So do I understand it? Yeah, but
Yes.
like at the same time, I think that there's a lot more of that like, uh, uh just a cringe that like a lot of people in different sides kind of feel.
Yeah. I mean, and it's their absolute right to do to feel that, you know. It's it's the norm that i- is not the norm for people to have a video of you holding yourself over your husband's casket. I mean, I really didn't think about it, but when I did see it, I was also jolted. Because you don't see that every day. And when I turned on the sound, it 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 tore me apart. Yeah, it was a little. I mean, it wasn't as cringy to me as it was heartbreaking.
Oh, it
And
was absolutely sad. I'm not even gonna say like it didn't make me feel, but like because of the way death is with how I can't think of a better word than this, but like animated it is.
mhm,
Like because you become such almost like a caricature of yourself because of the way you look and the way that like being dead changes you almost.
yeah,
It changes the way you look, it changes the color of your skin, it changes what you look like. It almost makes it cartoonish. And that like that disparity in seeing him 2 days later in that way after seeing him just talking is such a catch 22 that it makes it weird.
yeah.
Like it gives you that uncomfort. It gives you that like,
Finality. Yeah.
yeah.
It gave me the feeling of being in the funeral home. You know what I mean? Because I remember my mom. I remember seeing that. I remember your grandma. I mean, remember seeing that. You know what I mean? It was just, um, yeah. It's not something normally that people would do, and so it's not a cultural norm for us. But I think that in her grief, for me, it's whatever's going to help that person because it's not my grief. Yeah, I might feel cringe, or people might feel cringe about it, or I might feel, brokenhearted when I see it, and I don't have to watch it, and I won't watch it again because I don't. I watched it once, and that was what I did. But you can't measure their pain by how I react by it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I can't I can't f- n- not let her have what she needs to have publicly because he was such a public person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you got to let her have whatever she has. But that being said, I mean, she's being very graceful about everything. She's just not publicly losing her shit, which I'm sure she's done in private.
Oh, absolutely. And that kind of comes to the second idea or the other 50% of possible outcomes and how people look at this stuff is I think some people want something better for you. Like, oh, this happened. This is how I got through it. This is how I think you could get through it better. This will help you maybe. And instead of it being like, oh my God, I didn't want to see that, or oh my God, hey, you're fucking falling apart. It's, I don't want you to hurt. I want you to be okay. I want to help you. Like, let me help you. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Like, it may even be more than 50% because,
Yeah.
like, nobody wants to see anybody hurt.
Well, it all depends on if you're talking about chronically online people or not, because
Yeah.
the chronically online is a completely different. I mean, it's a completely different animal. And some people say online life isn't real, and it's not, but it is. You know what I mean? Like people
Mhm.
live online, and nowadays it's being taken offline very, very violently. And it's it's something that needs to be taken into account. But in real life, I feel like people are more apt to either want to help you, like you said, when you're close to somebody, you want to help them. You want to, you know, I got through it this way, but I noticed that, in doing that, you're kind of stepping on their path. You know,
Yeah,
you have to be in a certain place with someone in order to, you know, be able to stand and kind of guide their grief. And they have to trust you. It's got to be a complete. There's got to be a level of trust there that's beyond anything. So that in my mind is less of a percentage to me. But if you're talking about the chronically online, I think that people wish people harm all the time, because there's not
absolutely.
any humanity to it.
Yeah,
You're behind a screen and a keyboard, so it just takes all the humanity out. You know, um, I think that a lot of the behavior, just as a last note, um, from me on the whys is, I think seeing someone else's pain might remind them of their own, you know, like
that's why I was
seeing.
thinking. Like, if you're close or even like relatively in the room when somebody's struggling,
Mhm.
you're more likely to give that opinion of like, oh, well, this is how I got through it.
I feel that shit.
This is what I did.
Mhm.
Like, I sympathize with you. It's okay. I'm here. But so obviously I was a part of everything with your mom, and I was in that situation and stuff like that. Out of that room of what, 200 people or whatever, how many people do you genuinely think could have helped you at any point during that like first month, 2 months? Like, how many people genuinely could have been there that could have changed your grief or helped you grieve in a way to be more healthy?
I think that once my mom passed, a lot of things broke in my family.
Yeah.
As far as like, because my mom kept me and my older brother together. And then, it was more of, I felt more everybody went their own ways and I was kind of left alone to deal with
Mhm.
it, you know. And it was very disheartening for me because I really feel like I could have used more support for sure. Um, but just knowing that people were there, and I think that I had your family, um, your mom, you and your sisters. Um, and there was one of her friends, that I ended up staying over her garage for a long time. Thank God for her. Um, and it was just, I felt like, more abandoned than people that would have tried to. I feel like if I would have been held or hugged, or I was torn apart. So honestly, for the first month, I'm not sure anybody could even come near me.
Yeah. No, like I think about it this way. Like, if something were to happen to me now, right now, I go and get hit in a car accident or something like that, there's a handful of people that do one of two things. And they're the only two handfuls of people that genuinely could impact the 10 people that would be severely detrimented by the loss of me. And those two groups of people are the people that either make everybody fucking laugh, and there's only like three or four of them, or it's the people that genuinely know who I am and are able to tell stories and able to like sit around and have fun and relax with the people that matter.
Yeah.
And there's so little of those people around, regardless of how big of a circle that people have. It's weird because you genuinely can really see it if you look down at it. But it's actually being honest with yourself about who genuinely would be there. Like, I know for damn sure my dad's never, like, even if I died tomorrow, my dad's never going to my funeral. And if he did, it'd be for fucking kudo points. Oh, your kid died before you did. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But at the same time, there, you can count the people on your hand who would actually be able to help the people around me.
Hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think there's one or two things happen during a death situation. In my experience, people either band together
Yep.
or they break apart. And in most of the cases that I've seen, it's the break apart because so much pain is in everybody and nobody knows what to do with these kind of emotions,
Yeah.
you know?
Especially when you look at my grandma and you look at your mom, they were the matriarchs and the
Yeah.
things, the linchpin of the family.
Yep.
When you take that linchpin away and nobody's taken that slot beforehand and nobody's come up and been equalized with them, everybody's going to fall because nobody is holding it together anymore. There is no more level there. There is no more calm and availability and an ability to like be equalized with the person that was just lost. So if you don't have that strong person to step up into that role, it makes it very, very complicated in order to be able to heal and come together as a team. And I think that might even be the difference of those situations where you have everybody falling apart because there is no linchpin. Nobody no longer holds everybody together. Nobody no longer holds everybody to family dinner or this or that. And when that linchpin is gone, there's nothing.
Yeah, somebody else needs to become the linchpin, but I think the family's so broken for a period of time that nobody's able to, grief is so non-linear that everybody has a different way about expressing the grief, and it comes in such waves that are so different for everybody that it's hard to get to get on the same path with
Yeah, well,
those
like
grieving the situation.
if you look at like Sunday dinner things, and that's the easiest way to kind of look at it in like something physical of like this thing changes. If it goes from grandma's house to your mom's house, that is a change in who's holding everybody together because now it's your mom holding
Right.
everything together. And when it goes from your mom to you, now you're the one holding everybody's now coming to you. I think that that is genuinely the difference. Like if you have a loud enough voice and that's your personality and everything else, and you slowly become that person where people are coming to you to ask you for help or let me figure this out and let's do this together. You are becoming that pin that holds everything together. But if you have somebody who doesn't want to let that go or doesn't realize they have it, like families do fall apart. Like it's going to because the person that just held everybody together is now gone. And now you have 3, 4, 5, 15 different people thinking in different ways and trying to figure things out in different ways, or even if they care. Like there is such a huge conundrum there
Hmm.
that totally it's going to fall apart if you can't help rein everybody in.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to allow everybody to be able to process it in their own way, but it's such a tumultuous time emotionally in the first month or so after somebody passes that it's hard to come together during that time. Um, when you don't really know what to do with the depth of your own pain. Um, you even talking about it, I just feel, I feel the things that I felt, uh, in the first couple months. It was a very
Yeah.
intense. I was off the rails. I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
But I think that's why I asked about like the first month because I think that that might have been a reason why you held on to that grief and that those immense emotions for so long. Like when I look at Joshua
Yeah.
and everything that we did with that, I had a plan because I've seen everything that's happened with everybody. To me, I don't think a big funeral for that situation makes a lot of sense.
Right.
We need Bree's support system and we need mine. And to me, they needed to be separate things. As stupid as that sounded, they needed to be separate things so that way we could heal each individual person in that specific situation.
Right.
To
Do you,
me, in my opinion, Bree should have happened first, but like timing wise, that's not how it worked. But like in my opinion, that's exactly how it should work. Is like if it's a situation where two people need to be healed or two little situations need to be healed, not doing a big thing is what matters. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it doesn't matter if there's 200 people there. Do you think 200 of those people matter? I don't. I don't even think 200 people were touched by that situation.
Yeah.
But I can tell you 15 on each side were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those 15 people in those support systems were absolutely imperative in order to make us both be able to heal and both be able to stand up out of the ashes and rise again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel I feel as though you guys are really good at allowing each other the space needed to do what you need to do to get through whatever it is you're getting through. And that situation could have and very often does split people apart
Yeah.
rather than bring them closer together. So I'm glad that you have taken the things that you've learned and the growth that you've gained and put it into practice during that time of grief, because I know in mine, um, you made some pretty big decisions about what you wanted to do and how you wanted to channel that grief. And I'm pretty sure it was because you watched some people that you love very dearly spiral and you
Yeah.
didn't want that to be you. You know,
And I knew
kudos to
that,
you.
like, so being somebody without a dad and without like that. So, in my opinion, I could be wrong in some situations, but on the grand scheme of things, it seems like a dad gives the rigidity to life. Like they will give you the rule book of how to play the
Okay.
fucking game of life,
Okay.
and a mother will show you the care and guidance and emotions through that.
Okay.
Like they will give you the floors. If you're thinking of like a building, a man will hold everything up, and a woman will give you each individual step to take to go forward. So when I think of it like that, I needed to be able to give Bree a place where she could be held together enough to feel whatever she had to feel, and I needed to be put back into place. I needed to give her what she didn't have, which was somebody who was going to be rigid enough to hold her up and make sure she is okay. And I needed to be able to be given the fucking cement to hold it back together.
Yeah. Well, you guys did a great job. You guys did a great job with each other. I mean, there's boundaries absolutely matter, and each person in a relationship, if you're allowed, if you're able to allow, because some people just don't have the capacity, but if you're able to allow that person enough of space to do what they need to do and grieve in their own way, it's okay. Because, I mean, a lot of people need to gatekeep. Um, but ask yourself why someone's reaction or grief bothers you. Why would that bother you if, she grieves in a different way than you? Of course, not you, because it doesn't
Yeah.
bother you, but people. Grief isn't a performance for someone else to evaluate, even a spouse.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you're like you said, like I said, you don't owe anybody proof of your pain. And you need to just really surround yourself, in my opinion, with people that will allow you that space to process. But, and this is what I didn't have, after you have the initial month or two of shock and despair and going through your own path, I it's the coming together and helping to build up part that was missed for me.
Yeah. You didn't have the person that held it together. And like if you think about just any vague relationship where one of them dies. If a mom dies, dad struggles to move past it. Why? Because they don't have a place to step next. So they end up moving on too quickly, or they end up, you know what I'm saying? Like they do the things that are so like unlogical to do because they're just trying to figure out what the fuck to do for tomorrow. It's no longer long term. It's I have to hold together the same exact pattern that I've had since I was fucking 25, where I go to the diner, I get pancakes in the morning and I get steak at dinner, and there is no difference ever because I can't take another step. Or if the dad dies, mom knows how to just make sure the house is taken care of, doesn't know how to drive a car in some cases, doesn't know how to go out and work because they've been a stay-at-home mom their entire relationship. And now they have no way to hold everything together, but they know what to do to make a new floor.
Yeah. Like, I think about your grandpa, and he he lost two wives, um, and moved on pretty quickly after each one of them. And I always looked at that with a side eye because I didn't really understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel now, today, after being, seasoned by life, if you will, um, that that was his way of dealing with the grief. That was his way of getting through things, in my opinion, from what I knew of him, because
Yeah.
I know he loved your grandmother very, very much,
Yeah.
you know. And I also know
He
that he
is
loves his wife very, very much, his current wife very, very much.
he is
Um,
the reason why I handled everything with my divorce and the passing of Joshua and everything the way that I have. Like he gave me that book.
he's a very even keeled man, and I think that you got that from him. And
Like we sit down and have family dinner and he will talk about grandma.
yeah,
He will talk about Aunt Brenda's mom. He'll talk right in front of grandma.
good,
And she has zero problem with it.
good,
And when me and Bree were dealing with everything with my divorce, she allowed me to just thought dump without it causing relationship issues, which I never expected in a million years. I was able to give everything, and she's like, "Babe, I love you. It's okay. We'll figure it out." And that mattered so much more than I could ever give her credit for, and
right,
get ever give her availability to give that understanding that I got. But like that's why I knew how to do what to do, because it's like at the same point, if somebody passes, your answer is they're no longer here. You can't just grieve on what they were. You still have to keep going. What do I need in life in order to keep going?
right. It's hard to determine.
Yeah.
It's hard to determine when you're in the thick of it. And you know, for me, I was led by my emotions. Whereas, looking at your grandpa, he he had to keep a life going. He had to continue to move forward and and have a life.
And
Um,
how do you do that?
yeah.
Multiple times. Like,
Hmm.
and not even start from zero, in all honesty. Like, if
Emotionally,
any, if, but like, you can't. You can't go back to zero because you have these kids. You can't go back to zero because you have the house, you have the pictures, you have the memories. If you go back to zero, you're failing yourself. You're failing everything you just built.
yeah,
And regardless of how negative or positive something was, you're not at zero. You can't say I go back to zero. That's not how that works. Regardless of if, you just got with the person or whatever, there's still that memory of that first time. There's still that memory of that first kiss, that first date, whatever it is. It makes you wonder, like, is it harder at that point, or is it harder after a divorce, or is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird because they're all different flavors of the same fucking candy.
yeah.
To me, I think almost a divorce is harder than death because you have to deal with that. Like, even if you're the one that sat there and signed the divorce paperwork and you're the one that wanted it,
Right.
you still have to wonder why. Why wasn't I enough? You still have to go through that mental work. You still have to go through all those steps. If something traumatic happens and tomorrow I die, I never want Brie to worry about if she was enough
Right.
because I chose her every single day up until that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a different thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like probably death is easier. Yeah, you have the trauma, you have the grief, you have everything to handle, but I think like somebody choosing somebody else over you is a harder thing to fucking handle.
It's definitely a it's definitely a jagged little fucking pill. That's for sure. We have all had our taste of that. Well, I know you and I have. And it's not, it definitely is a grieving process that not a lot of people talk about, is grieving the living. You know, we have definitely talked about that before. But it's definitely a different type of pain, a different type of burn, a different type of life lesson altogether. When you're grieving the living and not feeling like you're enough, specifically from a marriage. Yeah, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Um,
But
it,
no matter who the person is that's giving you advice or trying to help or God forbid trying to fuck it all up, give it all the same care. And that sounds stupid, but even people that are fucking trolling and are douchebags, something they're saying may actually genuinely help you. Don't let it emotionally affect you, but take everything in. Be able to listen to everybody and then come up with your own fucking opinion instead of just letting everything in the world cut you. Because you don't deserve to be cut by everything, but sometimes you need to fix yourself and do better. Sometimes people need you. Sometimes you're able to fall apart and everything will be okay. But you're the only one who knows your real circumstance. Not somebody on the internet, not me, not KJ, not some dipshit down the street named Uncle Joe that wears a tinfoil hat every week. It doesn't matter. It's not the same, but hopefully somebody's able to help you through your time. It's a lonely path we walk. And some days you get a friend on it.